Welcome back to another Real Talk reaction. This one is for The Witcher. Yes. Season 1, episode number 3. Let's get it.
And before we get to it, I want to feature a couple of comments. The first one being from...
Like we always do about this time.
Huh?
Like we always do about this time.
Yeah, so the first one's actually from our patrons on Patreon. And this is actually from episode 2 because, again, on our Patreon, you can get early access and to both the full and edited show, so check that out if you want to have the same access. But first comment is from Lysith, and again this is for episode 2, who says, love the reaction guys, Yennefer's journey has begun. She is one of my favorites. Also love the song Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. Can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
And Feathers says, Yennefer, my favorite character behind Geralt.
Really?
I love the way this episode weaved the elves' history and disenfranchisement throughout all 3 main storylines. That speech that the person, I don't know how to pronounce that, gave, where he talked about the great cleansing and how the fields were growing from the blood and bodies of his people and his people's children, was really powerful. That was one of the elves. When it comes to magic, however, it's hard to say whether I believe The Witcher that humans adapted better to chaos, or if I side with the guy that chaos is now polluted. I'd probably guess somewhere in between. I think humans polluted chaos, and then over time they were the ones who could then adapt to that pollution and still use chaos to the fullest capacity, whereas other magical creatures started to have adverse reactions to it. Well, that's probably why that one elf is sick. Remember? She was like sick and nose coughing and all that stuff. Clearly in this episode we saw Tizage turn the failing girls into eels and push them into the pool to use their powers as fuel for like you said. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. And this act something that humans constantly do? Is this what they meant by artificially enhanced chaos? And is the polluted chaos why that one elf was so sickly? I just said that. Lastly, I also like The Witcher has changed from meeting Renfri in the first episode. Here, while talking to the elf, he urges the elf to choose the lesser evil and face the consequences. Because remember, that was a big back and forth they had in the first episode. Quite the turn from his fence-straddling, non-committal attitude last episode. I like that they're framing his growth around this profound experience, as I really liked Renfri too. I really liked her too. I was surprised she's only going to be the first episode.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to feature a couple comments from episode 1 from YouTube.
Could be back, though. You know, you never know. It's magic we got going on.
So first comment is Sydney Taylor, who says, love your reaction as always. I'm glad to see you chose to watch this series. I really enjoy it. The story can be confusing at times, especially if you've never played the games or read the novels. I haven't either, but it all comes together in the end. Thanks for that, Sydney, because it is all over the place right now. There's like several things going on at the same time, so how does it tie together? We shall see.
Yeah.
Then longtime supporter also Techno Master says the story of Renfri, the girl that Geralt fights and kills, is actually a brutal reimagining of Snow White. That's very interesting. At one point in her story, not shown, she lives with a band of gnomes like the 7 Dwarves. And I thought it was interesting, the back and forth. Brad commented on that comment as well, was like most of the Disney stories were based on brutal stories. Kent also added, I also love that the author and series were never explicitly say who was right or wrong, just leaving hints that both could be right or both could be wrong. And Brad commented on that too, saying people see things from their own perspective with Renfri and Stregobor. I assume the truth lies somewhere in the middle between the wizard and Renfri as far as who's right. The Dennis D, longtime supporter and patron, says not 3 seconds in and hands to the face, J Rabbit stamp of approval. You know it. Nide comments, this wizard is very superstitious. It is not clear if Renfri or any of the other girls that were autopsied actually were cursed or not. It's up for interpretation. A lot of the beliefs that the common folk have in the Witcher world is driven by fear and superstition. Many times it isn't actually true. For example, the rumor that Witcher doesn't feel emotion.
Yeah.
And then Kent goes on to say, great reaction, thank you. Originally, it was a series of short stories by the same author, then regular novel with the same characters following up from the short stories. The author is from Poland, and his books were really popular there and worldwide, though not sure if that was before or after the games came out. And a Polish game company CD Projekt Red decided to develop a game around them, which were a hit. So 2 more subsequent games came out, third being an award-winning game and one of the most highly rated by critics and fans, if not the most. And now we have a series which is based on the books, not the game. Hopefully that explains everything. Yeah. Great explanation. Yeah. Appreciate it, Kent.
Wow.
So yeah, we just want to feature a couple of comments.
Yeah, y'all in there.
Yeah, we'll try to make sure we pick a couple from each episode, especially those that are enlightening. And again, as always, please try to avoid spoilers.
Please.
Unless something's so blatantly obvious that we were supposed to get that we missed. But again, thank you guys for the comments. Let's check out episode 3 right now.
Yeah.
So you decide to kill your king? Great plan.
Another fucking ditcher. Your kind already swindled us once.
I take payment after the job is done. And for a third of the price. An apology. From my guild to yours.
You are trying to get your head chopped off.
Man, his boy's ready though. They know what disrespect look like.
You know nothing of my pain.
Well, are you guys gonna handle the monster?
Yeah,
Like, what are you guys gonna do?
That's what the people talk about. Like, the king ain't doing shit about it.
Jennifer's getting sent too.
And she is. Everybody watching.
Why is everybody watching?
Can you do something? Just watch.
Let them watch.
Oh man, it looks real as shit.
Remember that scared girl who tumbled at your feet in this cave? Totally unaware of her power. I want to go back home to Adrian and never be her again.
You're bound for Ada.
Yes.
Let me be candid. You are a first draft of what nature intended is. Lucky for you, I am the final artist.
Was the baby a baby?
Yeah.
Was it mutated?
No, the curse.
Oh, it was a
The girl
curse.
was killed with a curse, and it didn't. The baby was eating. It's just a hot.
Yeah, okay. Because like he said, it had to be a curse to make it.
Who's the princess's father?
My man will kill you, Witcher.
Witcher.
Elves.
See, because he got that information that she's half elf.
The Empress of Elvenburg.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter elf.
Quarter.
Watch your sin and do that math.
It's not model our wisdom on prejudice and paranoia.
Prejudiced or not, you can't deny Cintra has operated outside our influence far too long.
Unchecked kings and queens lead to rebellions, massacres. It's the reason this chapter was formed.
Still afraid of Falca, are you?
There's only one recaller. Your scent was on her sheets.
Oh, she was sleeping. He was sleeping with her.
And you once. What would I be doing in a day-house bed?
So did he get her pregnant?
No.
The king did.
Yeah.
He raped her.
It doesn't sound like it.
Nobody got raped.
Nobody got raped.
Full test.
But he was having sex with her too.
As Temeria turns
And he's
against
jealous.
him. Just as he turned Ada against me.
It's appropriate. You deserve
Sabrina
that.
Glavesic.
Fultus! Leave your sister be. Show Madame de Bruce some respect.
Foldus.
What wonderful children, Your Highness.
Thank you.
Is that the same name as the king right now?
Your Excellence.
That's who the king is right now. Foldus, right?
Shit.
An Erdurnian would surely have had better footing.
Is this back in the past?
You claim to be quite the artist. Prove it.
The chapter would have my head.
Do they already have your cock?
I envy you.
I think you might be right though.
I think I'm right.
To live.
That was him and her, his sister.
Yeah.
Fall in love.
Fultus!
It is. Foldus. It is. Ha!
Madame de Bruce some respect.
Okay. One thing makes sense
Wonderful
now.
children,
A little bit.
Thank you.
Black eyes are awesome.
Yeah. Man, I'll be swinging my ass trying to break them damn thing.
Oh my god, is it on bed already? It's right there.
It's right there.
What is it?
Umbilical cord.
It was Foltest. It was his fault. I loved your mother.
What's gonna be fun of meeting him or something horrible? Remember, it's a picky eater. It just wants the liver and the heart.
How you gonna save that?
Well, he's gonna give it, cure the curse. The screaming shit is crazy.
Yeah. Nice.
Took out all of her
That's
women's
the
organs.
uterus thing, eh?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it laying there?
Yeah, it looks shiny.
Oh, you see the red bait? You see it like it's... Oh, is it the sorceress?
Did he put that on there? I think he put that on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
That's why he should have been asleep.
Oh, the sun's coming up.
Yep. Shit.
Oh, it's intense. This is my favorite episode so far.
They getting it right now.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah, looks like he turned back to a girl. Maybe it knocked his ass out.
Yeah, we obviously... She kept her eyes.
Yeah.
He gave it back to her.
I feel something out there waits for you. Something more.
Yeah, it's a little princess girl looking for you in the woods. Yeah, going to the princess girl looking for him in the woods. Somebody's shooting him.
Is that what the battle was? right, that was episode 3 of The Witcher, and all right, it's starting to make sense to me a little bit more now. We got 2 different timelines going on at the same time.
That was great.
Now it makes more sense.
Yeah, and also it kind of makes sense too because when the queen was talking to Ciri, and remember, Ciri, and she was like, she said something about, well, you remember, or back in the day, they used to lock princesses up in towers, right? And like this is princesses being locked in towers to try to make them into, witches or powerful or whatever. So like it makes sense now that what's happening with Yennefer took place like 50 years, somewhere between 50 and 60 years.
Do you think that was Yennefer that was the queen that we seen at the beginning? That killed herself?
No, not at all.
You don't think that's her?
No.
Okay.
It's been 50 years.
Yeah, so where you think Yennefer at in the present time then?
I don't have no idea.
Because she's obviously going to play a mega role in something.
I mean, there's obviously a lot that's going to happen between now and we get to the present. And Yennefer is definitely establishing herself as a bad bee. Like, she's like not taking no shit. I love the conversation between Yennefer and her ex about like the way that she perceives the world versus the way he does. Like, he's a romantic. Like, no, my world is a struggle. It's a fight. Like, even the way that she took her enchantment, she was like, it's got to be all pain. Like, life is pain. So just her character to me is so intriguing.
She's going to be a powerful sorcerer or a wicked witch of the west, something like that.
And she's going to be like unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I loved...
She's going to take out the whole clan.
I loved too how the whole dynamic of this episode and comparing as far as like the visuals in reference to Yennefer and Ada, as far as both being being perceived as monsters and wanting to like have that evolution to be beautiful or be viewed as a human again. And I think Geralt being involved in that in the way that he sees like he wants her to be able to not be seen as a monster anymore, I think speaks like highly to how the world perceives even him. So I feel like there are so many messages and so many things that were happening in this episode. It was absolutely hands down my favorite so far. Yeah. It was the first one I felt like I was like, ooh, I can follow it because like there was that little click as far as the timelines.
Yeah, once I figured that out, then I'm like, all right, well now I'm not finna try to sit here and think about how both of these things finna merge together because they don't. They just gonna come to a head to the future of whatever Yennefer becomes, and what the Witcher and the young
Ciri.
princess right now. So all that shit is gonna come to a head at the end, which probably is gonna make for a beautiful, beautiful, crazy ass ending.
Yeah, and right now with Ciri being called into the woods, like I'm like, who's calling her? Who wants her? That's super interesting to me.
It could be Yennefer.
Maybe it's Yennefer, right?
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued. I thought this episode, again, hands down my favorite. The action,
it going down
all of it was
episode.
super great. Even the visualization of what what Ada as a monster looked like was the creepiest shit ever.
That was
like
super creepy.
That was very well thought out monster visual. The screaming was crazy. And again, even with that, with her screaming and with Yennefer screaming through her transformation, I just thought it was such a well done episode.
Yeah,
it was just a great episode. Great episode.
Yeah, great
Can't wait
episode.
to hear you guys' thoughts on it too.
Yep.
Anything that we may have missed, but like I feel super proud of us that we figured something out. So very excited. I'm invested now. Now I gotta see where this is going. Yeah, for sure.
So it's about to come to it's probably gonna be a shocking fucking when we get
all
to
the pieces come together. Yeah, for sure.
Alright, well look, thank you guys again for watching another Real Talk reaction for The Witcher, Season 1, Episode number 3, and until next time, people, peace.
I got the VIP locked down, 'cause I'm the baddest chick in the club right now. He got the VIP locked down, 'cause he the hottest dude in the club right now.
Look, I'm on the guest list, walking past these